Hello, I'm LeoKRogue. I decided to do a no upgrades playthrough of Middle-earth Shadow of Mordor. This is a kind of run I had done many years ago on Twitch, but those streams aren't archived, so I'm doing it now. For this commentary, I'm still a little bit sick, so my voice is gonna sound a little bit weird. I hope that's fine, but with that out of the way, let's get going. I'm gonna open up this skill screen to show you that any skills that have yellow padlocks on them, these are story unlocked. These are given to you regardless of what you do. I will be allowed to use these, but anything else you see, anything with a white padlock or a red padlock, we cannot unlock those no matter what. This means I never get air assassinate, I only get air knockdown. I never get execution, which completely destroys my ability to quickly kill people in combat. And here is our weapons screen. These are all the runes you can equip onto weapons. I will not be equipping or picking up any runes. That means my dagger, my sword, and my bow will all be completely bare. I skipped the tutorial because nothing interesting happens there, and so we will immediately go on to taking down Gimoob.
Slay the orc captain, cut off the head of the snake, and the body will wither.
I won't always be completing optional objectives because some of them are not very helpful, but some of them are very helpful. So in this case, the objective is to eliminate these archers. I got really unlucky and got detected already, right off the bat. We're starting out amazingly. This is the first in a long pattern that you'll notice. And what that pattern is I'm not going to play this run flawlessly. Shadow of Mordor is a very random game, and Shadow of War is even more so. So I don't know if I'll even cover that one. But yeah, do know that Shadow of Mordor is very random. Things are not going to occur the same way every time. And a big part of skill expression in this game is adapting to that randomness and figuring out what are ways that you can deal with the game pretty much just doing whatever it wants. The nice thing about it is that in terms of mechanics, it's pretty consistent. So it's not like something like a Unity, for example, where, you know, the same buttons you press can lead to wildly different results. It's random in its situations. And it's certainly random in its bosses, which are captains and warchiefs, all of whose characteristics are determined by the Nemesis system. So here already I have dropped Gimoob's HP down to green. This means he's queasy, he's, you know, all messed up. You can... Basically what this means is that you are allowed to grab him now. Whenever an Uruk's health is down to green, a captain or a warchief I should say, you can grab them and they will no longer break free of your grab. If you attempt to grab Uruks whose health is not green yet and they don't look all queasy like that yet, they will always break your grab. So here, I'm just going to take my time killing the rest of his forces because I want to be left alone with him, because we have to interrogate this guy so that we can find out what he knows. Because we don't have execution, and we will never have execution, one nice thing that you can do is you can aim with your bow in combat, and as long as you have some focus remaining, you should get a little bit of slow-mo. Earlier, a few seconds ago, I just murdered Gimoob by shooting him with an arrow because he was not invulnerable to ranged. So we'll pick up this rune only because we're forced to, but we will never equip it.
These tracks are not quite human, not quite beast.
Even more reason to investigate.
Be wary. This creature leads.
These guys are in my way, so I might as well get rid of them now. But this is the first in a series of optional objectives I will be largely ignoring. The bonus objective here is to free all the slaves. I'm not going to do that. I don't want to go out of my way. I don't want to waste time. And rest assured, there will be moments where I more or less have to waste time. Just because I get unlucky, just because the situation randomly gives me a setup that I don't really want, that isn't conducive to me, that isn't helpful to me. And then I'm just gonna have to deal with it one way or another. The worst of these moments that you're going to see later on is when, for example, I do my best, but there's just too many captains in open combat with me at the same time, and then I literally just have to leave. Like, I have to retreat, I have to climb a building, I have to wait for them to lose me, which typically you will never see me do in my content. You will never see me do that in my videos. I know that escaping from combat is kind of a thing in stealth games, but generally speaking, when that happens to me, I will either kill everyone or I will simply never let it happen. In Shadow of Mordor, no upgrades, that isn't feasible. You can't really do that. There will be a time, unless you get very, very lucky, and all of your Uruks and all of your layouts and all of your setups happen to be, you know, happen to play nicely with your goals, 99% you're going to eventually run into a situation where you just have to, you know, fuck off and leave. Alright, so here we're gonna meet Gollum. He's a scraggly little dude. We're gonna pick up an artifact from Celebrimbor's past. Another thing that you've already noticed by now, certainly, is that I'm skipping pretty much all the cutscenes and pretty much all the story. This is already roughly 3 hours long with all the story excised. I'm not willing to make it even longer than that. So, if you want to know the story, if you want to know the lore, that's on you, I guess. You can wiki it or look at another playthrough. But just for the sake of some small introduction, this character I'm controlling, Talion, he's a ranger from Gondor. He is, he and his base, his gate, the Black Gate, are assaulted by a bunch of Uruks, which are like orcs, but so much worse, so much more powerful, so much more devastating. And his family is killed, and he is also killed in an attempt to summon an elven wraith, you know, known as the Bright Lord. And this elven wraith is Celebrimbor. And unfortunately for Sauron's captains and his army, Celebrimbor does not do what they want them to do. Instead of, you know, becoming one with the person who summoned him, he actually merges with the dying Talion, preventing him from, you know, fully dying. So this introduces the intel screen, which, you know, allows us to see strengths and weaknesses, and to track targets. A big part of this game's core gameplay loop is finding intel on targets and then going to assassinate them by whatever means it is possible to kill them by. So if you like the investigation assassination loop of AC1, you're probably going to like this game. I do. Back to the story summary. Celebrimbor and Talion are therefore immortal, so even if you die, it's actually justified as part of the narrative. You'll rise again. You even get experience points for dying in this game, which is kind of funny. But as a result, Uruks in Middle-earth start to see Talion and Celebrimbor as like the Grave Walker. So they start to fear him and to be spooked by him. But if an Uruk kills you, they will level up off of killing you. So it's important not to die too much, because that will make things a little bit more difficult, generally speaking, especially on a no upgrades run. This is Ratbag that we've been escorting and walking around with. He's kind of an asshole, but he's a charming guy, I guess you could say. And this mission introduces shield bearers. If you try to attack a shield bearer from the front, it will not work. They will counter you. So you need to jump over them and hit them from behind. Whenever I can clear enough space around me to knock down all surrounding Uruks, I can do a ground stab on them and finish them that way. So yeah, that's considered a combat finisher.
Now, just picture all these corpses as Gorov. Visualize your goals. Gorov's been out for Ratbag for years. Smug piece of dung he is. We come to blows as far back as Ratbag can remember. Still, Ratbag never wins. Last time, he kicks Ratbag into the Caragor pit. All the others laugh as the Caragor bats Ratbag around like a yarn ball. Oh, that Gorov's gonna pay. Smug piece of dung. So
Ratbag hates this captain called Goroth, and this is kind of like foreshadowing or a little sneak peek of a mechanic we're going to get later in the game where we can get captains to betray other captains, betray warchiefs, you know. We can essentially set up what's known as power struggles, which allows us to position our army and our Uruks in the places and times that we want them to be. Right now, we don't have access to the core mechanic that allows us to do all that, which is branding. And what branding is basically mind controls people. You can brainwash them, you can force them to do your will. But right now we don't have that. Instead, we've built this uneasy alliance with this ratbag fellow. So it's kind of like a you scratch my back, I scratch yours sort of deal. He wants to be a captain. We want to kill the captain that he hates. So, you know, via the virtue of the enemy of my enemy is my friend, we're going to work together for a little bit and see how we can get that done. So he's led us to the apparent stronghold of this captain, Goroth. So we're going to look for him. Similarly to Assassin's Creed, you can climb buildings pretty much freely. And also similarly to Assassin's Creed, the controls for climbing are more than a little janky at times. We're going to backstab this guy. Or assassinate, really. And then we're going to find out that Goroth isn't even here.
Goroth will kill you if he catches you napping. Goroth never comes here. He's always by the hunting camp.
Goroth's in the hunting camp. So much for him always being in the same place. A captain who fears his own beast.
Fear is a powerful tool, Talion. Let's put Goroths to work.
We are very much going to follow Celebrimbor's advice. So this is the tutorial for how to exploit weaknesses. Goroth has a dreadful fear of Caragors. When you exploit a captain's fear, what it does is it causes their health bar to turn green, like, immediately. So even if you haven't laid a single scratch on them, they will immediately become terrified, and they can be manipulated, they can be grabbed, you can do whatever you want to them, provided you terrify them first. So because we know Goroth is terrified of Caragors, we will unleash this Caragor out of its cage. He's gonna see it, he's gonna get really, really scared, and he's gonna try to retreat. At this point, a captain is essentially as good as dead, so you can just chase him down and inflict whatever terrible nonsense you want on him. Another thing you can do is, if a captain's health bar is green like that, you can spam assassinates on him over and over and over again until he dies. Which is probably the quickest way to kill one, unless they're invulnerable to stealth finishers. At the end of every power struggle or every interaction between Uruks, between captains, you will see a little summary like that, and so Ratbag has taken Goroth's place. And now we're going to do the next main mission, where we have to follow Gollum around so he can take us to an artifact. Celebrimbor's artifacts allow him to remember his past, and it typically unlocks some kind of ability for you to use. And because we can't unlock anything with skill points, these skills that we unlock over the course of the main story are the only sort of mechanical expansion we'll be allowed to use. I'm just gonna kill these guys because I can, but also because this is a worm. Worms are what we call Uruks who have intel. And you know that an Uruk will have intel because they'll have that green swirl over their head. So we're gonna look into this guy's brain, we're gonna find out what one of the captains in this region is weak to, and where they're located, and then we're gonna chop his head off. If you see intel around, it's usually a good idea to grab it. So whether that's a worm you can interrogate, whether that's papers lying around, getting intel until you know as much as you can about the captains in a region is a smart move. Especially if you don't have to go out of your way to get it, which at times we will have to. So Gollum wants us to be killing these archers so that he can move about freely, and Talion, as a rule, is very strong against any enemy on an individual level. basically, as long as Talion is not surrounded, even with the weakest possible character, there is no way that you lose.
He steals from us like bargains.
What kills you in this game is being outnumbered.
He'll show us, then we'll take it. He'll show us, then he steals it. No. We'll take it from him. We'll take it from our sharpest of sharpsies. But not hurting, no hurting. Gentle sharpsies shows us bright master. Here goes. We wait here for you.
Alright, so the artifact is somewhere in this region, and you can probably see a bunch of explosive grog barrels littered around the area. If we had the detonate skill, we would be able to actually use those, but since we don't, we can't use those. So this mission introduces ghouls, and it also introduces Wraith Flash, which is an ability we are allowed to use because it's a story unlock, and not a skill point unlock. So, ghouls, you know what I said, how what kills you in this game is being outnumbered? Well, lo and behold, here's an enemy type that vastly outnumbers you. You can just wave your sword in their face and cut them down one by one, but if you stand still, they're kind of like Zerglings from StarCraft, if that's an example anyone in the audience will understand. If they surround you and swarm you, they will chip your health down in a matter of seconds. Individually, they don't do too much damage, but because there's like hundreds of them, if you like stand in one spot and let them hit you over and over again, their attack speed, their combined attack speed is so high that you will die very quickly. So instead, what you see me do is I run, and my running stab attack, which is done by sprinting and then tapping your grab button, you don't hold the grab button, you tap it, and Talion will sort of stab with his sword. Like he'll do like a forward, like a lunging thrust. And this is what I do to build combo meter and to kind of chip away at the edges of the swarm. And when their numbers have dwindled enough to the point that I feel comfortable standing still and tanking the rest of the damage, I just attack them normally and I use Wraith Flash. Because that is an ability that uses combo meter, hit streak, I should say. So for this next mission, we're gonna have to find Gollum again.
These towers were not built by the Dark Lord, but to challenge him.
Now only ruins. Buried.
If I see one of Celebrimbor's forge towers, I am going to climb it and essentially seize it, like control it, because these are fast travel points and it helps to have them. They also unfog the map, but because we're not doing any side content whatsoever, that's useless to us. Alright, so this introduces Graug, so we are hopelessly unprepared to fight one at this stage in the game, but we can distract it by shooting down a bunch of meat. So we're going to shoot down the meat, the Graug is going to go have a tasty snack, and we are going to run behind his back into the cave he was guarding.
The air here is thick in death. Ghouls.
There are ghouls here, and I'm gonna kill these because it seemed to me like they were rushing to get reinforcements. That pulsing icon that you see around an enemy's type designation, it means that they're going for reinforcements, or they're going to go for an alarm if they're an Uruk. I don't know if that's what they were gonna do here, but I didn't want to risk it, so I just went ahead and, you know, took him out. We're gonna find another vision artifact. And here we go.
Fly.
Now this unlocks Shadow Strike, which is a very useful skill. For 2 Elf Shot, which is the little marks that signify how many arrows you have, you can warp to any enemy that you can aim at. So what we're going to do is we're going to warp between little islands, little platforms, collect arrows, and keep running. We have to escape the cave before the timer hits 0. This is not difficult. As you can see, a lot of these ghouls also don't want to stick around. So, another thing that I probably neglected to mention while we were doing our brief overview of all the things I'm not allowed to do is I'm not allowed to spend any Mirian. Mirian is a resource that you can spend to increase your stats. So things like your health, your arrows, how much slow motion you get. We are operating at the base levels of all of those stats. And because of that, we'll be limited to 4 max arrows for the entire game. And because of that, what you see me do here is a move we will be repeating many, many times. We Shadow Strike to an enemy, and then we drain them to get the Elf Shot back. And because they're stunned for a brief moment after the drain, we can do a stealth kill animation on them. And so this way we get to warp around as much as we want without ever running out of resources. If an enemy detects you during the animation of shock where they're reeling back in surprise, you can still finish the stealth kill. You kind of like take advantage of their shocked state. Dishonored has something like that as well.
You can't just execute for a regular reward.
Very nice. There's Elf Shot here, which is why I didn't drain that guy. So here's Grog. He's surrounded by shield bearers, and if I remember correctly, berserkers. Berserkers are guys with axes. You cannot attack berserkers either, because they will counter you. You can't attack them from the front anyway.
You! These scum are no better than tarks like you, and I will show everyone here how low that is.
I'm gonna knock this guy down and attempt to finish him, but it won't work because there's just too many orcs around me. So we will do our best to position adequately and to keep putting pressure on the horde. Because Wraith Flash is the only damaging ability I have that can use hit streak, I'm gonna be using it quite a bit over this playthrough. And at the very least, it does knock away everyone around me a little bit. So sometimes it can just be barely enough to squeeze out a ground execution. I was wrong, by the way, there were no berserkers in that composition. So now we can finish this guy with another sequence of moves that you're going to see me do a lot, which is the Wraith stun into flurry attack. So now that we've interrogated this captain, we can get information on a Warchief. Warchiefs are, other than main story bosses, the most powerful type of enemy in the game. Every region has 5 Warchiefs at any given time, and captains are subservient to them. So if you can use captains, you can get to Warchiefs. You kind of work your way up the chain of command until you cut them all out from within.
If Ratbag is able to take the Warchief's place, it will only be a matter of time before he leads.
So this is the tutorial for taking out a Warchief in general. After this, the game will ask us to take out the rest of them in this region, and although it is part of the main story, you can do it via whatever methods you wish. So this is kind of the nice thing about Shadow of Mordor. It kind of lets you be free to pursue your objectives in whatever way you want. And so for a big chunk of the first region and a big chunk of the second region, that is going to be your day-to-day. After you're done all the, you know, scripted missions that teach you mechanics, the game lets you loose out in the world. Okay, there, that guy with the 2 axes, that's a berserker. You do not want to basic attack him from the front. He will counter you and you will eat a lot of damage. I reposition up here to kill this archer, because I don't want him to bother me. And at this point, I'm just trying not to be surrounded by special enemy types. So grunts, you know, just basic attackers with swords and clubs and whatnot, I really don't mind. But shield guys, guys with axes, I do not want anything to do with them in a large group. Because the larger the group, the higher the chance that I accidentally attack one of those. And that will hit me very, very badly. On a base level of health, unupgraded, you don't want to take nearly any damage. Okay. One of the nice things about hit streak burners like Execution, Wraith Flash, Wraith Stun, not Wraith Stun, but Wraith Flash and Wraith Burn, is that they do give you iframes for the duration of the animation. So if like a big attack is coming your way, you can just burn your hit streak burner and then just the attack will go through your body and you won't take any damage. So it's kind of like a good way to dodge things. A lot of games have moves or actions or animations that give you invulnerability, and it's kind of like a basic gaming principle. You can use this sort of idea and carry it from many games to many games. You just have to be on the lookout for it. So now that Mog has been killed, Ratbag has taken his place, and Ratbag is now a Warchief, and I remind you, he does work for us. So now that one Warchief is done, we have to take out the rest of them. Warchiefs are typically guarded by a number of bodyguards that the game randomly distributes from among the captains in that area. So, because we're on a no upgrades stallion, we do not want any situations where we're severely outnumbered by like beefy enemies like captains, like Warchiefs. Normal Urks, too many of them are already bad enough, but boss Urks, like, we don't really want them. So I'm gonna go over here and engage this guy. I'm gonna shoot that archer so he can't do much to me. And once again, when I'm isolated, when I'm alone with someone, they're basically doomed. Like, there's really not much they can do, especially if they don't have immunities. So this guy isn't really immune to anything, which means you can just...
A curse on you and your kind.
Yeah. Before killing him, I will interrogate him, because captains and warchiefs always have intel. So we'll use him to research Nazu, the Watcher. Now, I know that Nazu has this bodyguard, so now we're gonna go research who that bodyguard is and where he is. I'm gonna take this guy and drag him behind this corner here, and then I'm gonna look into his brain so I can find out where this guy, Dark Hot Tongues, is hiding. Using a normal Uruk that doesn't have any intel to research an Uruk doesn't give you their strengths and weaknesses, it only gives you their location. But their immunities and their vulnerabilities, like, those are completely a mystery to you. So I free a Caragor over there, or what I assume was a Caragor in that cage. Yeah, there we go, they're fighting it. I'm gonna shoot down that beehive. Or, they're not bees, they're Morgai flies. But let's be honest, they're bees. So I can come over here and kill this guy. I don't know that this guy is connected to anyone, but he's here, so I may as well kill him. Just because, in case something goes wrong later, I don't want him to become part of someone's entourage. So he's isolated, he's alone, he's in this corner here. I can do whatever I want. No one is coming to help him. And he's not invulnerable to combat finishers, which means we can do our very cheap, spammy technique of Wraith stun into flurry kill. And as a plus, we can interrogate him because he is a captain, so we can get even more information. Now we know who Snagog Mad-Eye is, which is another Warchief. And then we're gonna kill this guy and skip forward to... There's Darg. We're gonna kill him now. Okay, ideally I don't get detected here. So I'm just doing my best to find out how I can reach that guy. I can see that these ropes lead this way, so we're gonna climb up this wooden column, jump over here, and cross the compound from above. That's an ability I probably haven't explained yet, but you can distract enemies with your bow by basically placing a ghostly whisper at a location of your choosing, and they will turn to face it. So now we realize this guy is invulnerable to stealth, and the way we find that out is by trying to stealth kill him. So that is a little bit awkward. He is not invulnerable to ranged, and we find that out by checking him with an arrow. So that's kind of the cool thing about this game. Even if you don't have intel, you can, to a degree, check enemies and kind of poke them for weaknesses, poke them for invulnerabilities. And by trial and error, you can discover what they're strong or weak to. We've damaged this guy sufficiently that he can be grabbed, so we chuck him off the edge and he dies. And then we skip forward.
Kill the Uruks before they signal their kin. Then the Warchief will
to
be
killing
their only
Nazu.
reinforcement.
When it comes to killing Warchiefs, you always have to fulfill some kind of condition to make them come out. Because usually they hide themselves, they protect themselves. So you have to do something to provoke them, to piss them off, to make them angry enough to come out and try to kill you. And in the case of Nazu, you have to kill enough of his supporters without setting off an alarm. Supporters are Uruks that are marked with an objective marker above their heads, so these yellow circles. So we're going to go around, and we're going to very carefully take them all out. When you're operating inside of strongholds, you have to be very careful, because the slightest mistake can sound an alarm, because these places have astounding concentrations of enemies inside of them. And the thing about this game is that if you set off an alarm, enemies will spawn indefinitely. So it's not like you can just kill them all until the spawning ends. There's no such thing. They will spawn infinitely as long as an alarm is still going. So if you set off an alarm, you have no option except to just leave. So we have to be very careful not to do that. We're going to pick up this elf shot. One of the nice things about strongholds, though, is that there are usually hostile animals inside of them that Uruks have caged. So if you free those beasts, they will start slaughtering the enemies for you. And this doesn't cause any alarms, this doesn't cause any detection. I was draining this guy, but then Nazu appeared. So I'm just gonna have to drain him again. Alright. Now, there's still chaos going on down there. And Nazu, the only thing he's really vulnerable to is mounted beasts. Unfortunately, I don't have any ability to mount beasts yet. If I had gotten some skills, some upgrades, maybe did a little bit of grinding, I could pick up the Shadow Mount ability, which lets me aim at any rideable beast and mount it by teleporting onto it. But alas, I neither have the ability to normally mount nor to shadow mount. which means we have absolutely no way of exploiting his weakness to mounted beasts. So instead we have to just kill him the old-fashioned way, which is by dumping damage into his body. One thing we can do, however, is to frighten away his men. And I do that by unleashing as many animals onto this area as I can. He's invulnerable to stealth, but I just use this to get down. And I know this guy has like a savage weapon. You can see the blood on his spear. That means that if he hits you, it's going to do a lot of damage, and it's going to cause a little bit of damage over time as well, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I recorded this footage, so I don't remember exactly.
Too many dead. No more.
He also has a shield, which means I can't attack him from the front. I'm really trying my best to just... There we go. We're going to vault over him, hit him with the Wraith stun, and now we can finish a flurry combo on him. And then hit him with a ground finisher. And we're going to repeat that. Now, if we're very, very lucky, we will be able to repeat this loop without incident until he's dead. But if we're unlucky, something like that will happen because of janky hitboxes, and we'll take a lot of damage. Now, I could go and heal, but I really don't want to leave this guy alone because I don't want more Uruks to spawn. Okay, I'm probably going to Wraith Flash here, yeah, to avoid the hits from this guy. You can see I am very adamant in trying to get rid of this dude, and I got lucky enough that it paid off. Yes, you do die now. And we chop his head off. Okay, so bye-bye to Nazu. Our next target is Snagog Mad-Eye. He has one bodyguard, which we have already marked, so we're gonna go take him out if we can. We're very fortunate that this particular bodyguard is simply out in the wilderness. He's not in a stronghold, he's not in an encampment or anything, he's just by himself. This is beautiful. This is exactly the thing that you're always hoping for when you play this game. But there is a worm here. So hopefully I get to interrogate him for some actual intel. You want to be as prepared as you can, usually, before you go for people. Now, something very scary happens here. I accidentally tossed this worm into a fire, and Uruks can burn out. Like, their HP will hit 0 if you leave them burning for too long. So in order to salvage the situation, I warp to this guy and grab him to, like, put his flames out. And then I'll pick him up. I now know what Rosh Thin Bones is weak to. He is vulnerable to stealth finishers. This means that despite being a boss, he is killable in a single animation. And ideally, I figure out a way to do that without having air assassinate. Because on an Uruk who is vulnerable to stealth finishers, if you do an air takedown on him, like an air knockdown, then it doesn't actually work. But remember, he was also vulnerable to ranged attacks, which means we can kill him in one headshot. I decide to check this guy to see if he's vulnerable to ranged. He's not. I'm not willing to fight him, so we'll just leave. There's a worm here. I'll interrogate him. Let's get intel on this one. Okay.
He is too cautious to.
So this is Snagog Mad-Eye. We've taken out his bodyguards, and all we have to do now is take out the man himself. The condition to make him spawn is to reach a vantage point without being detected. Look at how much grace time the game gives you upon detection to kill someone without your objective failing. Like, this is an auto fail if we're fully detected. That guy had me detected for a solid second, but I still got up onto the ledge and stealth killed him. Well, quote-unquote stealth killed him. So this is something this game is very nice about. It's very generous with how much time you have to save yourself. which should tip you off to the idea that the whole thing is very much an unashamed power fantasy, and we love it.
Spears punching through a head or two.
I don't get why anyone would want to bother learning to ride a Caragor. Save your energy for killing.
We reach up here, Snagog arrives. Normally the game would have this obnoxious chanting to announce the arrival of these fools, but for some reason here it doesn't. So this guy has a fear of Graugs and combat finishers. Well, he's susceptible to combat finishers, not vulnerable to them. Now I don't think there's any Graug meat in the area. Oh, well, there's that. Maybe I can lure some Caragors in, or some Graugs in with this. But obviously Graugs never actually go into strongholds, to my knowledge. Simply because their entrances are too tiny for their massive bodies. But yeah, I'm gonna cause some chaos. And pick up this elf shot. And here we have some time to wait before anything interesting happens again. So I'm gonna fill this time by talking about how difficult it is to commentate this game when there are so many things happening in a short window of time. I forgot that this guy wasn't vulnerable to stealth, so I foolishly try to backstab him.
Playing games, are you? Very well. Let's play the game
Yes,
of
let's
death.
play the game of death indeed. Let's see what else I can do to this guy. I remember that he is not... Oh my god, I auto-attacked a berserker. That's fine, I'm gonna stun him. Okay, he cannot be vaulted. I know his intel, I just didn't memorize it. I find it easier to just check all these things in real time over the course of a fight. Okay. Gonna Wraith Flash. Hit him with a ground stab. So this guy's almost dead now. There we go.
What is
Your head.
Maggot?
And now I have it. Alright. Now, this guy has this bodyguard, who we are going to go find and kill. I just need his location, so I'm gonna grab like any random fella. Look into his mind. Ronk the Ripper. Alright, Ronk, where are you? Also, this is the guy I meant to say was out in the open, by the way. I got my Uruks mixed up earlier. You guys were probably wondering, like, what do you mean the guy's in the open? He's in the middle of a stronghold. You crazy fellow. But yeah, this guy is out in the open. So... I know no intel on this guy, but we're just gonna hit him with a backstab and see. He's not vulnerable to it. But he does take damage from it. So yeah, especially because this guy is alone. Okay, he can't be hurt with arrows. Especially because this guy is alone, it makes researching him in real time by fighting him very easy. So now that he's green, we can grab him. Orthog Guard Master, huh? What is this guy weak to? Oh, he's vulnerable to stealth. That is beautiful. Seeing a Warchief who can be insta-killed with a stealth attack is just a dream. Alright, so to make this guy spawn, we are going to kill his defenders, his shield people. I can't climb this, which is sad. So I'm just gonna jump down and work my way up from here, I guess. Thankfully, ledge kill isn't an unlock. Not thankfully, these guys totally spotted me. No one else knows I'm here. I need to pick up some arrows from somewhere. I decided to leave that guy alone and jump down here. I'm gonna run at this guy and stealth kill him from the front. I'll kill this guy. That guy's gonna try to go for the alarm. We're gonna go ahead and stab him up real good. God, the disgusting crunch of Talion's dagger just entering the top of their skull is a unique experience.
I don't like the sound of that.
Okay, only one left that we need to pick up. I'll put a distraction on that wall, stab this guy, and now my target should spawn. Alright. Now the annoying thing is that this dude just spawned on flat ground in open space with no objects around him, which means it's not going to be easy to hide from him, but he has a fear of Morgai flies, which means I can drop that beehive and he will immediately go into green state and start running for his goddamn life. And then we're going to run up to him. Oh my god, please come back. He runs himself into a corner, which is very good for me. And because he's vulnerable to stealth finishers, which means he's killable in one hit, we can just stealth kill him in that corner. Alright, now this objective is a little misleading, or it can be if you interpret it a certain way. The objective is kill Uruks without taking damage. This has this implication that you must be in a fight or whatever. You don't. You can straight up just stealth kill 20 Uruks with your arrows or your dagger, and as long as you don't take any damage in the process of doing so, it'll count. So that's very nice for us, because this is a stronghold, and like I mentioned before, these places can be very sketchy. Gonna headshot this guy before draining this guy. That other archer detected me. Can I grab him? He's a worm, but I'm probably not going to interrogate him. I just want to be done with things here. I'm gonna free that Caragor. I'm gonna drop those bees. And this should sow a considerable amount of chaos. That one guy is terrified. I don't know where he's running off to. But I'm not gonna go down to pick him up, both because he's not my target and I'm nearing the end of the assassination loop in this region. Also, if he's terrified, he'll flee the area of operations anyway, which is exactly what I want. And I know that he's not the guy I'm looking for. Because the guy I'm looking for hasn't spawned yet. Also, Uruks that are killed by beasts you free do tick your kill counter up for objectives like these. So rather than kill, you can think of it as just Uruks have to die. And the methods by which they die don't really matter. We can see that that one guy escaped, which is good because it means he won't be bothering us. I did not mean to go on that zip line. That's fine. I'll just go ahead and stab this guy. and do my very bestest to kill these guys and suppress them all to the best of my ability. Because I already took such a long time getting these kills that I do not want to get touched and lose my streak. I would have probably just ended the recording and rolled back my save if that had happened to me here. I don't want to be dealing with obnoxious things like that. So yeah, we adapt to some level of randomness, but if things get way too out of hand to the point that it would become boring to watch, like too boring to watch, then I will not accept that recording, and I'll typically scrap it and I'll do it again. So if you're watching some of these segments and you're like, damn, this is a little dull, like not much happens here, I assure you this is the best variant of all of these that I could have gotten without tearing my hair out more than I was willing to.
What? Did you hear that?
Most of these won't take nearly as long. This one is just a very awkward one inside of a stronghold. Like a take no damage one inside of a stronghold. It's not often throughout this playthrough that we'll get something that necessitates this level of slowness. And there we go. My dude has finally arrived. Thank you for wasting all of my time. And we're gonna go put our knife in his throat. I think I was taking out my anger on this one Uruk here. That's why I shanked him in the back so many times.
Narug.
Because I was just exhausted of waiting so long.
Narug.
But anyway. Now I am trying to figure out if there are any other disruptions I can unleash upon this area. Most of these are too far away to actually cause any real effect, but that's what I get when I exhausted all the previous ones. Okay.
These idiots couldn't hit a Caragor if he was standing on top of them! I'll show you how real Uruks fight!
Alright. If I can get this guy into a corner, that would be ideal, because it will also limit the amount of enemies that can be around me and limit the sides from which they can attack me, which is nice. Also, you will notice that sometimes I get hit by arrows and thrown axes or whatever, just because I have turned off the indicators for incoming ranged attacks. I know that it causes me to get hit more, I just really don't like those indicators. I don't like how they look on the screen, so I would rather I would rather take a few more hits of range damage than have those circles be on the screen. Conversely, counter indicators above people's heads, I haven't turned those off, because it just adds to my flow so much without bothering me.
We'll need to free my men to find out. Do you believe the blasting powder can draw out the Black Hand?
I pray so. The enemy gathers at Uruk's Hollow, where many of my men are enslaved. I pray Eren, too, is there.
I will handle the Uruks.
Perhaps we can take a more stealthy approach and incapacitate them by using their weakness. Grog.
Alright, so once we have killed all the Warchiefs, we can finish up the rest of the missions in this area, which involve allying with the Outcasts and setting up this big plot in order to destroy the huge statue. Kind of watching over this region in order to draw out who I believe is the Black Captain, the Hammer. So most of this mission involves wandering around with Hirgon, so I've cut out those sections for the most part. But some of it involves collecting Hithless, which are these poisonous herbs. And this unlocks a new story unlock ability, which is the ability to poison barrels of Grog. So basically, if you can stealthily lurk up to the orcs' Grog barrels, you can put poison inside them, and then when they drink from them, they'll die. So it's a way to kill big groups of enemies without actually being near them. Hirgon will always get attacked by this Caragor. I like to stay away so that I make sure it aggroes onto him. And this way it makes it easy for me to get the headshots on it.
Up here, we almost have enough poison for our purpose.
I look forward to seeing its effects up close.
So yeah, as you can see, without many cutscenes, the first region takes around an hour, if everything goes reasonably well. Now that we have all the poison, we need to sneak into Uruk's Hollow, which is another stronghold. I'm just looking around to see who can see me. I have 2 elf shots, so I'm probably going to regain it from this guy right here. There we go, give him the stabby stabby. Italian, please, thank you. Alright. When you poison a barrel, Uruks will like to congregate around it a few moments afterward. So doing these in the right order is usually a good idea. So we're just going to play a little game of connect the dots. Gonna do that one, come down here and do this one, immediately climb back up this ladder. And we're gonna start from the outside and work our way in. Kind of going in a big circle. So you see they're already dying from it, which is great, because it means that the later ones should be easier to get to.
I'm surprised they can keep it down.
Unless they're milling about between the barrels, which is something that can happen. And it might even happen here. Gonna warp to this guy and kill him. Gonna jump over here. Okay. Just looking around to make sure there's nobody. Alright, and last one. Okay, this guy's staring at me, so I need to headshot him. Alright. Looks okay.
There's been a murder here. Now what there is to do.
And that's that.
We'll need to steal a cart of grog from the Uruk. It will make quite the trigger for the blasting powder.
So that whole mission was to save Hirgon's wife, where basically we had to rescue her for him to work with us.
When I'm through.
And now that we've done so, he's like, okay, now we need to figure out a way to create a big explosive so we can destroy the Dark Monument. Grog is notoriously flammable and explosive. So what we're gonna do is clear this area of Uruk so we can steal a huge Grog cart. And this will allow us to make a bomb. Okay, I'm gonna free that Caragor. I know there's elf shot around here somewhere. Look on the other side here. I'll just run along these ruins and... yeah, I'll just pick it up off the wall here. I'm not in a rush because the more time I give the Caragor to do its business, the more of them it will kill. I can see that guy over there, so I might as well go here to pick him up. I'll drop down here. Crouch, draw my knife, and take him out. Next to the fire, at least he'll die where he's warm. Kill this guy. Distract behind him so I can lurk up behind him. There's only one defender and the Caragor left. I'm gonna go ahead and climb this. Now I need to remove this beastie. And there we go. So that was relatively clean, all things considered. Later on, as we're walking with Hirgon, a bunch of ghouls spawn. So you remember the technique for dealing with these guys. If they're not surrounding you, you can just kill them with basic attacks. If they are, you can run and then do sprinting lunges.
The Uruk camp lies before us. Kill the lot so my men can pass. If you need assistance...
I'm gonna warp up here. Drain him. Stab him. And then likely warp to the next one. Unless... oh, no, we can actually go over that way instead. There we go. Since there's elf shot right here, I'm just gonna kill him. I'm not gonna free this Caragor this time, I think. I'm probably just going to come over here and do a 1-2 on these guys. The spearman behind him actually chucked a spear into his buddy, which is amazing. You can go this way toward the fire. Unfortunately, I didn't throw him far enough. And that should be that. On this bridge, we're accosted by ghouls again.
They're upon us.
So yeah, you can see when they're all like slowly running up to me one by one, I can use basic attacks to kill them. When they surround me, I'll use my Wraith Flash. And there we go. Finally, there's one more swarm of them right here. We get very lucky and we managed to lunge both of these. I was trapped in an animation so that Caragor hit me, and then because it knocked me down, I was trapped inside the knockdown, so then it hit me again. Which is really, really annoying. There's not much I could have done there. Okay. Alright, now we have to kill 17 guards.
The Uruk's numbers dwindle now that their
This is probably my favorite part of the mission. I'm gonna climb up here, take a look at where everyone is. And we will start with this guy. Farewell. Let's move on to his buddies. Gonna do a 1-2 on these guys. Quite expedient. So my general flow for moving through environments is I'm looking for guards to kill, I'm looking for interactables that I can use like hives or cages, and I'm also looking for elf shot that I can pick up as I run between enemies. There is no mandate to stay undetected here, and there's not too many enemies that would give me difficulty in a straight up fight, especially because there are small clusters of them. And there are already a bunch of outcasts here fighting these orcs. So we can kind of run up behind them and get some free stealth kills. Until we can't. And I got hit because I didn't double counter there. Trying to take out the axe guy. There we go. Vault the shield bearer. Knock him down. Stab him. And that's over. And now we have to defend the Grog cart. This is one of my favorite parts of this playthrough, just because it represents a really great opportunity to showcase elf shot management using shadow strikes and drains. So here there's a bunch of enemies around the cart, we're gonna fight them. And then soon enough, archers will appear on the upper platforms. And at that point, we have to deal with them, because they will pepper the cart with arrows. The goal here is to protect the cart until it reaches the end of its path, so it can explode where it's meant to. It's a bit like Overwatch, except the AI here actually does its job. And actually escorts it and actually protects it. Which is very nice.
Arms us not. We carry one far greater.
Alright. So you can see I headshot the two guys, and then that leaves me with exactly enough elf shot to warp to the last one, kill him, and then jump back down. So, I'm gonna show off something a little bit stupid, a little bit interesting here. No matter how many of these guys you kill, they will keep spawning forever. So what you have to do is really just begin pushing the cart, like it says. Like, they will just keep filtering in from around that corner. You see? You can probably see them spawning in on the minimap too. Yeah. Just to be very thorough, like I really show that it doesn't matter, like you will not stop them from spawning, so just go ahead and push the cart, and the other outcasts should be protecting you as you push it. There will be rare times where an enemy will come to attack you. Obviously, if that happens, let go of it and like stun them or throw them away. Now you have to eliminate archers again because they will hit you. So same idea, headshot the first guy. I'm actually gonna warp to this guy first, then headshot the other guy, and then drain him, and then stab him. That's pretty much the end of this. There's not much else to talk about here. This destroys the Dark Monument, and it aggravates the hammer enough to make him want to attack you. So here, I'm gonna do my best to run these Uruks into the beehive, knock it down, to freak them out. That was a very lucky vault to get me out of the way of that guy. So this boss, I still don't 100% understand how he works, but basically you can only attack him a certain amount of times before he decides to counter. And then you have to sort of roll out of the way. Also, if you see him raise his hammer, he's going to launch a shockwave attack. You should roll out of the way of that if you can. There you go. I actually dodged him by initiating a vault animation. I was wondering if I could interrupt that, but evidently not. Yeah, I'm really trying to just go aggro mode on this guy.
Is this your best?
Yeah, when that camera close-up happens, he spawns more ads. Once again, I dodged that shockwave by vaulting. Vaulting nearby enemies is actually an underrated way to avoid stuff. Especially in these boss fights. Like, he's gonna give you the courtesy of spawning enemies. You might as well use them. Yeah, this is kind of what I mean. Like, I use the iframes from the Wraith Flash in order to avoid the shockwave there. So, now that my health is low, I'm a little bit spooked. I'm gonna run around looking for food. Or herbs. You can eat an herb to restore all your HP. At least on a no upgrades run. This guy is not invulnerable to ranged, which is really nice. Because it means we have a reliable way of damaging him safely. But, of course, reliable does not mean sustainable or consistent in terms of ammunition. So I'm trying to go a little easy on that. And just chip him down bit by bit. Yeah, very annoying, very troublesome enemy, just decides to counter you. That time I kind of figured it was coming and I dodged out of the way. And there I waited until he started the animation for it and then I Wraith Flashed through it. And that's it. He's done.
How does your vengeance taste, Talion? Is not the darkness sweet?
Once we kill this guy, it opens our ability to go to the second region, which is much nicer looking and much greener. And that is also where we get the ability to brand Uruks. So I will see you guys there.
I need to find the way to Morgoth's Scar. There's a good chance we can pick up the ghoul's trail of that ransacked caravan we passed earlier by the ravine.
Okay, so now we're in Nirn, and I actually took about a 1 to 2 month break from the last time I worked on this video, so I'm looking at all of this with fresh eyes. All the commentary for the second half here, it's gonna be just me improvising even more than usual, since this playthrough isn't fresh in my mind anymore either. But what we need to do now is we need to progress a story quest so we can find a ghoul matron, and then once we take her out, we can proceed further to unlock Brand. And this will let us basically start to create an army.
Ghouls are scavengers. They take all, but leave one thing behind.
I must locate the ghoul's tracks. There's our trail.
tales of revolt in Uduk. Slaves rising up against Uruks. Since their
In the second half of the game, refusing to engage with enemies unless absolutely necessary is even more important than in the first half. But since these guys are in my way and I have to go through them and they would see me anyway, I'll just kill them as quickly as I can by shooting one, warping to another one, draining him, and then stabbing him. Very, very normal combo that you've already seen me do many times.
Wait!
I'll just make that guy turn to look at that and then run past him.
And it's one of us!
This hollow bleeds with death.
And this must be Morgoth's scar.
Alright, so there's a ghoul swarm in here. We can be sneaky and just curve around the edges of the path here. This way they shouldn't see us.
Staying high will keep me out of sight.
Yeah, what he said.
Ghouls fear fire as much as light. Those flames might prove useful if we are overwhelmed.
Yeah, they might, if this wasn't a no upgrades run. As it is though, we cannot have the detonate fire skill, so disregard what Talion said. He's operating on the assumption that he knows more than he actually does on this playthrough. Silly lad.
A treasure room. Your heirloom must be here.
Okay, I'm gonna be honest, I was not expecting this fight to be as tricky to figure out as it was. I did die once or twice here, trying to learn how to beat this without dying. And you'll see why. Basically, this kind of enemy is kind of scuffed if you have a character that is very lacking in verbs. So like you see that, how if you try to be a little bit too aggressive, it'll like retaliate. This is me just trying to drain it. It's not going to do much, but it will give me back my elf shot, which is the purpose of it. The safest way for me to attack this enemy is to sprint around and just do like lunging stabs after a run animation. Those retaliations you do not want. You can only dodge them. Dodging is kind of tough if you're already committed to an animation because that red attack comes out very fast. And yeah, I'm just doing my best to keep this creature away from the center of the room and close to walls so that, you know, I have a general idea of where it is relative to its minions. Speaking of those minions, here they are. And my thing here is I want to run around, get some more elf shot, and also do a charging stab. Run around some more. I don't know what I was trying to do there. I think I was trying to do another running stab, but because I didn't have enough momentum, Talion attempted to grab her. I have very little health, so I'm just going to Wraith Flash here, and then try my best to come over here where I know this herb is. The nice thing is though, once you kill these small ghouls, I don't believe they respawn. So taking care of them once leaves you relatively safe for the rest of the encounter if you don't take too many risks. So really the tough part is over, it was just that part right there. Because I don't have execution, my only combo burner is the Wraith Flash, so I just hit her with that. And now we have to escape the cave.
Must escape this darkness.
Kill ghouls with fire. This is once again foreshadowed earlier when Talion is like, oh, the ghouls fear flame as much as they do light. You know, it could be useful to us. But again, I do not have the detonate campfire skill.
The sun is our salvation.
The escape here is pretty simple. You just try to use a combination of shadow strikes and just normal movement to get out of here. I am poisoned, but it's not gonna drop my HP to 0 before I trigger the cutscene. So anyway, we are out of here. Now we have to learn how to brand. I think at this point in the story, what's her name? Lithariel, I think? Yeah. I think Lithariel's mom has told Talion Celebrimbor about some power or the ability to brand Uruks. Honestly, I genuinely forget. I didn't pay too much attention to Shadow of Mordor's story. I like the world it's set in, I like Middle-earth, but after... because I've played this game like 5 or 6 times, so once you've played it that many times, the story in this game isn't like the most incredible thing in the world. It does what it needs to, and I'm happy with that. But yeah, I didn't really pay much attention to it on my recent replay. I just skipped the cutscenes, especially since the purpose of this was to record this kind of playthrough.
To building an orc army lie within this fortress.
If we brand those archers, we can build our army and save these men at the same time.
Yeah, I do like the characters though. Like, while the plot is kind of whatever, I do think that Talion and Celebrimbor are awesome. Which is great because, you know, you're going to be playing as them for hours. You're going to be playing as them even more if you play Shadow of War. Which, jury's still out whether I'm actually going to do anything with that game. Especially nowadays. Elden Ring is out, Ghostwire Tokyo is coming, Weird West, Anno Mutation, and like there's so many games that I want to experience one way or another. So anyway, we're just gonna brand all these guys. I need to brand like 6 of them. Ideally without being detected as per the objective, so we're gonna punch this guy in the face. Gonna stealth brand him. Stealth brand is great because it's really fast. You don't need to grab, you don't need to channel a drain. It's just click the side of their head and grab them. And now it teaches you that once you've branded Uruks, you can activate them, and then they'll just attack anything that is hostile to you in the area. We have a small window of opportunity to do stealth actions on a few more of these Uruks, and by a few more I just mean that one, so hey, you know, we take that. I'll take what I can get. And now we're just gonna, in the second part of a no upgrades playthrough, the strategy around Talion becomes you want to brand Uruks whenever you can, and your role in the actual battle is essentially to just be crowd control while your Uruks deal damage. So in a way, you're getting more out of the Nemesis system. In a way, you're getting more out of the basic branding mechanic. Once we skip the cutscene, we're gonna need to take out some of these reinforcements, which is very easy to do by shooting down the flies and then starting to stealth brand as many of these guys as we can before it wears off. I think I just get 2. But 2 is still quite a lot, because if you see in the top, we've already got 18 out of 20. So all we need to do now is take one out, and then my Uruks should take out the last one. There you go. So that's it. Super easy. But yeah, this is general combat flow in the second half of the game. Like, you want your army to do your damage, while you kind of run around and you act as sort of like a someone who moves the battle in a specific direction, both literally and, you know, philosophically.
We'll need to find an Uruk captain to dominate and make our own.
Because on our no upgrades run, Talia himself doesn't have too much damage potential. I mean, he still does, but certainly, like, you cannot output the same kind of DPS that you would if you know, had execution and double charge and, you know, throwing knives and all these crazy abilities that I don't have.
Who's the idiot that nearly fell off the fishery ladder last week?
Here, the game is teaching us how to brand captains, which sort of becomes the major objective of this region, the overarching objective of this region. In the first region, in Odun, we had to assassinate captains, but here our purpose is to brand a bunch of them, to take control of a bunch of them. So I don't know what this guy's weaknesses are, but you know what, it's fine. We'll do it live.
I expected. More to kill before we isolate. Captain.
Nor do I remember, because like I said, it has been some time since I last watched this footage. Let's find out. First of all, can I lure this gentleman over here and be like, hey buddy, come check out this suspiciously appealing ledge. Anyway, so I branded the one guy. Branded the second guy. Thank you to all those Uruks for letting me finish the channel on that. Fair enough. I'm gonna cut your Uruks fast and not really gonna savor anything because we have a job to do. And that job is mind controlling your ass. I'm not sure how much meaningful range damage I can do to these guys. I don't have a lot of focus, which is also the issue with no upgrades runs. Typically when you're in the middle of a fight, you just don't have the time needed to do too many meaningful arrow shots. But we are gonna do our classic flurry attack. Can I hit him with that? Yeah, I can. He's not guarding my sword hits, so this doesn't matter too much. We can just pressure him with basic attacks until he goes green, and then get the grab. Alright, so this guy's now under our control. We're gonna have him infiltrate this dude. Send him on his way.
It is done. He's ours.
We must now make this captain a bodyguard.
God, the stuff Celebrimbor says is so
For a
cool.
strike of thunder that is soon born a storm.
Less about wraiths leaping from the sky onto the backs of bulls, but nothing but that. Filthy.
Well, doesn't matter. That guy started detecting me, but it counts for nothing. We're already in the cutscene.
Join me, or face the end of my sword, maggots!
So there's gonna be groups of challengers. We're just gonna come down here and start
I must help with
grabbing and stabbing. You know how it goes. Alright, hopefully we don't let shield guys stab us though. That's not the plan. Oh my god. Wow, okay, I'm good at this game obviously. Every coward's backup plan. Most effective. Just start shooting people. Works for me. Alright, let's find ourselves a nice flower to munch on. Here's one. Give me that. Nice.
Our protege wields fear like a weapon, and we are his invisible
I
ally.
quite like the elven way.
sees all.
I think I spoke over it, so yeah, Celebrimbor was like a shadow that stays close and sees all.
Stand by my side!
As soon as it becomes available, I am shining my blue light into that dude's face. Immediately. Berserkers are problematic. If I melee attack one, he's just gonna counter the hell out of me and it's gonna hurt, and I don't want that. Once again, arrowing that guy. Because of how limited my verbs are as a player on a no upgrade zone, I really want to remove the unique archetypes that are really, really annoying for me to engage with. So whether that is by, you know, hitting them with guaranteed sources of damage like arrows or, you know, held drains, or even just letting my Uruks bash them until they die. Typically I'll prefer to do that. So you may have noticed already that for the purposes of pragmatism and practicality, stealth brands effectively replace our stealth kill in the second half of the game. It is very rare, especially on a no upgrades run, that you will want to stealth kill an Uruk instead of just stealth branding them. The one exception is if you want to like take care of a, you know, a specific captain, then doing a stealth attack on him, you know, trying to stealth kill him with your dagger, will do more damage to his health bar than trying to stealth brand him. On the other hand, if he's vulnerable to stealth finishers, as in he will immediately be countered by a single stealth finisher, then you should obviously stealth brand him because you immediately take him. Like he just becomes yours instantly. We can very quickly get on top of this fort by shadow striking this guy. I briefly start channeling a drain on him because that kind of puts him into a stun state, and then you can just do a stealth brand and get the elf shot from him that way. And besides, you can also convert him to your side. A nice 2-for-1 thing. I'm gonna do the same thing here probably, yeah. Just hold it for a brief moment to stun him and forcefully like make him stand up, and then just stealth brand him. Similar thing I was doing with stealth kills in the first region.
Slave's heart was too chewy for my liking. That's because it's tastier while it's still beating.
Listen to them.
Yeah, just one of those small little tricks that it pays to know about in Shadow of Mordor.
I don't like the way that man scum smells.
It's one thing I like about the no upgrades run for this game. I think it affords me the opportunity to show off some of these little tricks, which I usually like to do in my videos. One thing I don't like about the Shadow of Mordor no upgrades run is it's very luck-based on a macro level. And what I mean by that is it's totally random what kind of strengths and weaknesses the Nemesis system will give you on any given playthrough. And so on this playthrough, I just got really unlucky, and a lot of the strengths and weaknesses of the orcs you're gonna see me fight in this run are just not conducive to this kind of playthrough, this kind of playstyle, so there's a lot of like figuring out how do I deal with this, you know, like their immunities are a bit annoying for this run, and that's why some moments are a little bit more boring than I wanted them to be, but in the interest of like integrity and like keeping myself honest, I just kept it all in, like, you know, that's just how it is.
Our arrows will even his odds.
Alright, let's see what we can do here.
I thought I heard something.
Enough of you!
Our pawn must not be sacrificed.
Ranger! Ranger!
That is true, I am basically a zombie.
Your decomposing glory! You're bloody revolting!
Oh yes, get roasty toasty. Right through. Oh, he jumped into the fire again. What a committed fellow. He's really trying to impress me this one. Okay,
Without strings,
nice.
it is only
Can we Wraith Flash? This guy does not appear to be guarding basic attacks, so that's really good. Oh man, I actually got hit by something here, probably from off screen. Yep, there it is. Once again, I've turned off my ranged attack indicators just because I really don't like the way they look on the screen. Sometimes I'm just gonna get tagged by a spear or an arrow or something, and I don't know. I think it's worth it. I'll happily accept that if it means I don't have to see those obnoxious circles. I don't know about you. The last stand mechanic, you know, gives us a chance to just recover, pick ourselves back up, essentially refuse to die, which is pretty cool and fits Talion's character.
Lead my army over a field of broken skulls. Come stand behind me, or let my blade meet your neck.
Queen Marwen's plan has given us great strength.
Strength should not be squandered, but wielded. The Queen will show us how.
Marwen's strategy yields great results. An army of our own to face darkness head-on.
Alright, and return to Morrowind
Ready to
we have.
We should return to Marwen. She will have more for us. The White Wizard has taken his toll on the Queen. Only in stealth can we clear a path so Lithariel and her men may find the elixir.
Emotion fogs your way. Risk without reward is recklessness.
This medicine will clear the Queen's mind.
I quite like this mission. It's one of the few, you know, nighttime missions that encourages you to play it in stealth. I'm gonna headshot that guy, drain this guy. You have to clear 3 areas without triggering an alarm, ideally, and the way that the game has set this up for you to do, if you don't have too many abilities, is to use animals, basically. So you can drop flies, you can drop Caragors, you know, stuff like that. There are Caragor cages that you can pop open, I mean.
She knows without the keystone, the arch.
And when there are basically no enemies left in the various zones, the 3 zones that you have to clear in this camp, that's basically when it's over. So as you can see, I'm not really taking my time watching that happen. I just pop the cages over, continuing on my way, because I know the Caragors are just going to wreak havoc over there. So I let them do their thing and I move on. And boy do I move. I love Shadow Strike. This ability is so much fun. I give Assassin's Creed Odyssey a lot of shit, rightly so, but Rush Assassinate is a pretty smart mechanic. Like, if there's one mechanic I'm glad that they stole from Shadow of Mordor, it's probably Rush Assassinate. This idea that you can just warp to an enemy that you kill or warp to an enemy that you hit, because it converts enemy position into movement, and it just makes you see the space in a different way, which is really cool. I wish more games would do that.
That ain't even alive no more.
In a way, Assassin's Creed has always kind of done that with air assassinates. Just not vertical or horizontal movement, but rather, you know, descending movement, where you can just use an enemy below to safely get to ground level. And it has the same kind of satisfaction where it's like, you know, you're merging a movement action and a kill action into one. So it's just a very kind of simple pleasure that
I can see why men
is tough to describe, really, but I like it.
About time we got some new weapons. Now what we need is something to test them out on.
Now, who's this guy? Okay, he has some nasty stuff on him, actually.
Like flies with the grape.
What do I do here? Well, I open by distracting him. I probably want to sneak up and stab him. Is definitely what I want. So yeah, this is what I mean. In this kind of situation, you would not want to stealth brand. You would want to just stealth hit with your knife, so that you can chunk like a third of his HP, if not a little bit more.
Man, swine! The night is young.
Alright, so now I do not want to raw attack this guy from the front, because he will counter me because he's a berserker. So if I'm ever attacking him from the front, it's after a flurry punch, like after a Wraith stun. And then we hit him with the flurry. Bam. You ever just backfist a dude so hard he dies? Because Talion does. Alright, so Lithariel is in trouble. She's been, you know,
Emotion will add weight to your step.
indisposed, I suppose you could say.
It would appear all of her men have fallen.
Accosted, beset by Uruks on all sides. Not having a great time. We got a time limit, we gotta brand enemies, build up our own little army, and then we can go save her. Let me grab this one. Running around the outer edge here is an easy way to get the numbers you need. Especially because lots of these enemies are so far from each other that you can comfortably shadow step to them. Shadow strike, sorry. Shadow step is Reaper's teleport from Overwatch. Okay, we need 2 more. Can I grab... Well, I can stealth brand this guy. And then...
Get back to work and stop talking there.
Well, why not just grab this fellow right here? Might as well. That's the end of the objective, so we can trigger all the alarms we want now. After this cutscene, we need to figure out a way to remove these guys. We're gonna open by branding this one because we can. There's no reason not to. Shoot this guy. Start just melee attacking the rest of them. He didn't let me finish that animation, okay. That's fine, I'll knock down both of them. Get the kill on this one. Come over here. And get the kill on this one. I'm not even sure why I did this. I was just feeling it. I don't know. Don't ask. So, if I remember correctly, you have to escort Lithariel in like 3 sections, basically. Or 3 segments, I should say. So, you move her forward a while, and then enemies come, and then you repeat that about 3 times.
Talion, I can no longer draw my sword.
Didn't quite do enough damage to that shield to shatter it instantly, but worth a try. I think if I had the actual skill for it, it would splinter much harsher. Or if my hit streak were higher. Or maybe both. Now that I have hit streak, I kind of want to get in the middle of these guys, and... Or not. Normally I would Wraith Flash there. But I guess I'm waiting for something. See, this is kind of a smart move. I drain that guy to keep my hit streak from draining. And then in the meantime, the other Uruks walk closer to me. Why am I keeping my combo so high? I guess I was just styling on these Uruks, I don't know. There was no reason to build up to like 31 hit streak there. Whatever.
I am but a handicap to you, Talion.
You were hurt because of me. I am the handicap to you. You have the warrior spirit. I've never met a fighter with such vigor for battle.
I have no choice.
Alright, so this is as I remember it. Here is the next wave. And as you can see, there's a nice little nest up there. Hive up there. So this lets me get some extra brand action going. Can I counter this guy? Yep. Is anyone gonna stop me? No, that dude is dead. Flip over the shield guy. Can probably just one-shot him here. Yeah, good. Ooh. Charging stab, so that he doesn't counter my sword swing. Lets me interrupt whatever he was doing, flip over him, and then kill him that way.
Steady. I'm here.
Let's make haste. My leg is broken, not my spirit. The Tower of Sauron interrogated me on your whereabouts, but I did not betray you.
Then you have proven my faith.
As you now prove mine.
Boss says he's sure the Grave Walker is in this area.
So this is the last fight of the mission.
My sword can only take so many.
The Black Hand is
You can see that that barrel of Grog is very conveniently placed there for a player to drag these Uruks toward. But again, we can't actually detonate it. Since these guys are all clumped up together though, Wraith Flash gets a lot of value here.
Anyone seen that phantom who's out there after us?
I bet you a barrel of grog and half a slide.
Alright, so now we're gonna meet this little dude named Torvin. He's gonna teach us about Caragors, about riding beasts. He has a
What do you propose then?
main quest line that doesn't really feel like a main quest line. It's just here to teach you beast mechanics, basically. It's here to teach you about Caragors, it's here to teach you about Graugs, so that you can use them if you need to in subsequent missions. So this opening Caragor mission is actually kind of annoying, because whether it jumps toward you the way you want it to, or whether it jumps toward you in a way that you don't want it to, that doesn't let you throw it like that, for me, in my experience, it's been totally random. I've run far, I've stayed close, neither one seems to make it any more consistent than the other, at least for this playthrough. So what I did here is I just cut out all the attempts where it ran toward me and it didn't do what was necessary, because there's no gameplay there. It's literally just waiting to get lucky.
You didn't fare
So,
too bad back there.
yeah.
Where'd you get your training, Captain?
I hail from the Black Gate.
The Black Gate. Nice place. Sounds depressing. Let's find some Uruks. Now that you tame the beast, let's see if it will fight for you. It will fix me weapons properly.
So at this point, Torvin and Talion kind of just have a friendly wager where they try to see which of them can kill more Uruks in a short amount of time. You can heal a Caragor by eating an enemy that's downed, which is an interesting mechanic. As you can see, it's essentially a finisher animation, like you would do with your knife. Just, mounted.
Another one for me! You see now, Captain, even the fiercest beast can be used for good.
You been hunting in Nurnin for long, dwarf?
For years and years. Land used to be more lush. Now a doom slowly sweeps over it.
Like much of Mordor.
Yes. Though the doom does add a spice to the hunt.
Alright, there's some more of these guys. Want to grab this one.
Sure he can ride a Caragor.
And of course you can shoot on a Caragor too, which is handy.
You take him up high. Leave the ground dogs to me.
There's some weird audio desync going on here. Hopefully that clears up soon. Yeah, this mission isn't too long, so shouldn't be too bad.
That fire better not set my beard alight.
We're gonna eat some more of these. Slash some more of them too.
Seems I lost track. Lucky you. Kill down. You got the basics down. Now let's take on a fresh batch. We'll find another camp. Put you to a final test. Fight him however you like.
Oh, running short on lessons?
I'm gonna drain this Caragor just to get some elf shot.
You'll need to think on your
It's an interesting resource management decision. Basically, you can damage your mount a little in order to restore your ammo and your focus.
I once tracked a grey eagle back to her nest. I decided to let them be. Even before
Unless your mount has already taken heavy damage from actual combat, there's not really too many consequences for draining it for ammo, unless you do it excessively. So yeah, I'm just gonna knock down a few of these guys. Shoot a few more of them, particularly shields. Orcs with shields and or spears are especially problematic toward Caragor because they can really deal good damage and they can block, which is unfortunate. If you sweep them up by their legs though, yeah, they'll still get thrown on the ground, so. There we go. This guy should be taken care of. Alright, so now we have to run past this last one to prevent him from getting away. This is one of my favorite animations in this entire game. The tackle off of a Caragor. You just fly toward him and roll with him on the ground and then stab him. It's super cool looking.
Torvin is too quiet. Something must be wrong.
Go to him, Talion.
That's pretty much gonna be it for this mission.
Perhaps we should track the hunter.
You'll make a nice meal, dwarf.
Torvin needs help.
Not noise earlier.
That's the thrill of the hunt. Just so you know, I had him.
With hunting partners, we get a tutorial on how to engage Graugs, and basically the way this works is you have to walk up behind it and effectively perform a stealth input on it. But I think it's with your grab button rather than your stealth kill button. Oh no, it actually is with your stealth kill button. Yeah, you have to be crouching and then do a stealth attack on its ankle, and this bleeds it and puts it into vulnerable state.
Jump on one before she jumps on you. Your speed will now match the ground. I'll be waiting.
So now we have to get a Caragor to show itself so we can mount it. I skip ahead a bit because it was just minutes of me wandering around until I was able to get the opportunity to mount one, since I don't have Shadow Mount and I don't have any skills basically. Normally I would just Shadow Mount to quickly bypass this objective, but you can't do that on no upgrades. So instead we'll lure the Graug over here, where Torvin has a trap ready.
Here you! I've slain bigger Graugs when I was a wee boy and my beard was only 3 inches long. Step 3. Shoot it in the head.
We shoot it in the head with a charge shot. This stuns it, and I'm pretty sure this is about it. Torvin jumps on.
What's step 4? There is no step 4.
He didn't really think his plan through.
Must have done it wrong. I'm following your orders. Well, that's your problem. Think for yourself.
So now we've unlocked the ability to mount stunned Graugs, which we will do.
What are you doing? You can't ride a Graug.
Doing this lets you do a quicktime event, which is very reminiscent of the Klomba fight from Prince of Persia: Two Thrones, if I may say so myself. So now we're riding him, and wouldn't you know it, there's a bunch of Uruks in front of us for the game to give us a tutorial on how to fight using a mounted Graug. So Graugs can stomp or punch, they can grab Uruks to eat them, and they also deal minor damage and stun by just walking through them, like with normal movement. And yeah, it's very important to munch on Uruks so that you can refill its health, because while they are individually not very powerful, in greater numbers they can whittle down your Graug's health. And I think if they do that, you will fail the objective. So we can just auto-kill any mounted creature, and this extends to Graugs, and that is basically done. Now that that's over with, we have to actually do the thing that we've been training this entire time to do, which is to kill the Great White Graug, to get revenge on this beast that Torvin has been menaced for decades by.
Are you ready to travel it?
Alright, so here's the legendary Graug. It's basically set up to be a boss fight, and it has some unique mechanics. But basically what we have to do is run far away from it to get it to charge us.
We improvise. It's too strong. I must attack from afar. A shot.
And then just shoot it in the face in order to make it barge into a wall, kind of like the Rhino from some of the Spider-Man games. Once it charges into a wall, it's stunned, and we get to mount it. Or, I don't think we actually mount it, we just end up doing an attack QTE on it. And as you can see, this damages a huge amount of its health bar. It's often very dangerous to be near the Graug, so as soon as we finish the QTE attack, we have to get away from it, because as you can see from just a moment ago, it did slam the ground and it did damage our health bar quite a bit. If it damages you once, you need to immediately go eat some mushrooms or some herb or whatever. So there are a bunch of ghouls here which will do very, very minor damage, imperceptible to the Graug, but they're actually bad for you, because if it grabs one, it will start to eat it, and if it eats it, it will regain some HP, which you don't want. So what you want to do is whittle down the ghouls as quickly as possible, and then whenever you see it grab one and about to eat it, just pop it in the head to make it drop it so that it doesn't get to heal. It's really important to be fast and responsive with it. And as a bonus, this also finishes the optional objective. You have to interrupt its eating 3 times. I think I missed that time, which is a shame. Either that or it wasn't moving fast enough. But I'm running around looking for some elf shot. I didn't make that because I didn't have any focus. Picking up elf shot also restores a little bit of your focus, which is handy. Okay, we got the headshot that time. That's another hit of damage. If you fail to prevent it from healing effectively, then you have to do this 4 times instead of just 3. So our goal with this fight is to make sure that we only have to do this 3 times. basically, if you fail to prevent it from healing enough, then it becomes a 4 cycle, which we don't want to do. The longer the fight goes on, the higher the likelihood that you will just take some kind of damage that just kills you. Because on no upgrades, Talion's HP is very small, and this Graug can, if you get unlucky, can one-shot you. Got some arrows. I think all the ghouls are dead, so I'm gonna move near this wall. Come here, buddy. There you go. Pop it in the head. It actually ran into that little rock formation there, which is amazing. And this should be end. But if it's not, we'll just shoot it in the head a few times. Yeah, this is what I meant by it becomes a 4 cycle. Another thing to note is that my bow isn't ruined at all, so like if I had some kind of runes on it, I would be able to do more damage to this Graug per shot. I would have more arrows to work with, I would have greater focus if I'd unlocked it with Mirian, you know, things like that. So like you can actually do meaningful damage to it even without the QTE attack if you have upgrades, if you're running runes and if you're running Mirian enhancements, but again, we don't have access to that, so we just have to play very safely and relatively slowly. I will interrupt that though. I don't want that. One more cycle should be enough. But here you see he stomped on me and took out almost all of my health. This is especially dangerous if you've been poisoned, because poison will take down your HP, slowly disorient you, and I think it might even make you more vulnerable, but don't quote me on that. It's been a while since I played this game. This footage was recorded months and months ago. Okay, pop it in the head, make it charge into the wall. Yeah, and as Talion's quote says, it's time for this thing to die. Now we can begin hunting down the final captains in Nurn. The Warchiefs, I mean, the final Warchiefs. So the first one is down here. I'm just gonna whack him with my sword until his HP goes green. Now here's the problem. He seems to be healing from Caragor attacks. I think he has a hate of Caragors. And I realized that, and I'm just like, you know what? Let's not worry about it. Let's just fight him on foot.
I have to chop your legs off to stop you running away again.
Yeah, I think I might have actually escaped from this dude once. Oh, he's green now. That's great. Can I grab him? Talion is prioritizing grabbing the cat, which is bad. It's gonna run at him. Oh, that's annoying. And see, yeah, he healed from it because he has a hate of Caragors or something. I don't know what it is, but he has some passive, some skill that causes him to heal from that, which was just a shame. Very unlucky. I didn't realize it quick enough. I didn't respond to it quick enough. If I did, I would have mounted the Caragor and then, like, you know, just killed it from mount to just immediately destroy it so that it couldn't act on this fight anymore. But anyway, we got him. Let's check out what's in his head. We're gonna need to research all the Warchiefs and then go take out their bodyguards. Oh, this guy's vulnerable to stealth finishers, so he can actually be stealth branded. We're gonna immediately move on to this guy right here, and ideally
the king will emerge.
we get to grab him, but we'll see how it goes. If I remember correctly, I don't actually end up branding this guy. Instead, he ends up dying and getting replaced by one of my branded guys.
Hard to know who to fight.
which still works. Like it doesn't, the game doesn't care which Warchief exactly is, you know, in the top of the food chain. Only that it's one of yours. Basically, you need to install 5 of your branded, mind-controlled, possessed Warchiefs in the top of each map. And that's what lets you continue the main story. So anyway, I'm sitting up here, staying as safe as I can, just chilling behind this wall, letting my branded archer and the chaos I've unleashed down there do its work. If nothing else, this will thin out the numbers, which will make it easier to maneuver, make me less likely to take trace damage from the outskirts of the fight. I'm looking around for more stuff to free, more things to shoot down, more chaos to cause. I can just go ahead and start popping these guys. Repositioning after every shot, not so much for the detection, but just because I need a better angle on these guys. Okay. There's one more Berserker I need to kill to tick the objective, so we'll find one. Can I climb this? Yep. Got him. Moosglob has arrived with his entourage of dudes. There's one of mine in there. Horhog, the dude we quickly, or not so quickly, mind-controlled earlier. I'm poking each of these guys to see who's vulnerable to ranged and who's not. No one was vulnerable to it, but I know that one guy is invulnerable to it. That's just a quick way for me to test and check, like, can anyone be instantly killed by a headshot? And if so, they should be. So this guy turns out to be Captain.
Show me your skill. I think you lack it.
Okay, remember you cannot attack these guys from the front raw. They will counter you, especially this dude has poison weapon, which is really, really bad. But you can just hit them with flurries. I'm gonna try to kill that guy going for the alarm. Hopefully I get him. Fine. It's not going so well here. They've finally been drawn to my position. I had to go for the alarm guy, and as a result I couldn't quickly brand the green dude. I'll just do this, and hopefully I can get him. Like, I really hope so. If I can't, I can at least kill him, or use him as a shield until he dies. Every once in a while I stab him, because this resets his struggle. Like, if you stab him, he'll eventually stop, what I mean is, if you don't stab him, eventually he'll break free. But if he's close to breaking free and you stab him, it resets his struggle gauge, basically, and he has to, like, do the whole thing from the beginning. So, this lets you kind of hold people hostage for much longer. Ow. Just let me... There you go. Yeah, I'm trying to just whittle down this guy's numbers, because they won't give me enough time to brand them, but they will give me enough time to use them as human shields and get them to be killed by their allies. And now I need some kind of vegetable. Please. Okay, there's one over there. Can we make it? Thank you. Can I brand someone? Nice. An unknown captain has been killed, which means my guy has been doing work down there. Okay, this guy is vulnerable to ranged. God, there are so many of these guys here. If I manage to kill them, I'll make a massive dent in Sauron's forces.
This is all too much bother. You pay next time.
So this guy's retreating, which means he's able to be stealth attacked. And this is what we'd like to see. I'm gonna try to get him. Okay, he just ran through the fire, which is extremely jokes. Okay, got him. There's a shield guy, I want nothing to do with that. I'll just vault over him and disengage. I'll command my Uruks to fight for me. And hopefully... Okay, so my dude straight up slaughtered the target that we were supposed to possess and brand and mind control. Alas, you know, that's just how these things go. The Warchief is dead. Long live the Warchief. So we still fulfilled that objective, and now we have to move on to the next one, which is... we don't know yet, but we are going to work our way up the chain. That's Ratanag. That's Feldouche. There's a bunch of these here. This dude is on his lonesome, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take him out here. A Warchief being on their own, or like a Warchief or a Captain being on their own, apart from anyone else, is just like a free meal. It's so nice to see it. A completely unupgraded Italian can still just claim them at any time. Very helpful, especially because we can gain intel on Krimp Ironarm. He's got a fear of flies, and he's damaged by ranged, which are both handy. That's Nazkuga. I know that some of these are beholden to Krimp Ironarm, so if I can remove a few of them, like at least one or two, then my job fighting him will be much easier because I can just command my Warchiefs to go into battle with him, and then, you know, it'll be much easier. I'm gonna free this Caragor to see what it does. Namely to just weaken their numbers, because again, captains that are isolated are significantly easier to deal with than ones that are not. And the reason why, by the way, in case I haven't explained it, is pretty obvious, and I think it's common sense, but just in case, it's so that you can do this.
You're not at me that way.
Okay, so he has Combat Master, which means he can't be finished by combat finishers. He's invulnerable to ranged, so this guy's actually pretty tricky. That means the only thing we can really do to him is... Okay, and he counters. We can hit him from behind, though. Yep, he has Combat Master. I'm probably gonna go into Last Stand here. This is just a terrible position to fight this guy in, because his passives essentially slow you down. Like, they deplete the pace of battle, because you can't shoot him, you can't do combat finishers on him, you basically can't do control actions on him that quicken a fight, which means it gives his Uruk forces lots of time to convene and collect at your position, so we're just gonna leave. It's not worth it.
Don't ever try to cut a weapon. Here, you don't want the boss getting riled up over nothing. It's not about upsetting him.
We're gonna grab this guy so that we have a little lookout, and also because I want to know the position of this person, Mozu. Of course, it doesn't tell us their strengths and weaknesses, but it does tell us their location. So, once again, interrogating just normal Uruks that have nothing to do with anything, they will still have basic knowledge of their army, so it's still worth it. There's the guy we're looking for, he's on this bridge. Just taking out Krimp's bodyguards. Let's see. Nope. Worth a shot though.
Man not escape. Uruk find man.
Okay, looks like man found Uruk though. Alright, don't shield bash me. Calm down, Brigitte. Knee him in the back of the back. Stab him in the arm of the arm. Okay, that was pretty raw. Like, he just fell off the edge, super satisfying. I love how the Wraith stun can do that. Okay, gonna chop this guy up real good. Wraith flashing. There we go, now he's grabbable. And yoinkers, don't hit me from behind. Nice, got him. Okay, we're gonna have him betray this guy. And down we go.
What's going on? I'm starting to get annoyed out here. If you dead, I'm Warchief, so you die now!
Okay. They start fighting each other. Whatever happens here, I profit. Because if my dude dies, then he gives me enough time to kill the other guy. And if the other guy dies, then my dude becomes Warchief. Or not kill, but like, you know, convert.
You're dead! Man filth! I could beat you and this traitor with both hands tied to a slave! Kill the traitors!
Okay, gonna flurry him. I'm gonna stab him first. Okay. Can we get out of my way? Thank you. Oh my god. Okay. There we go.
Think you've won? You ain't nothing but Shrug on Lord Sauron's heel. Lord, suffer me now.
We'll use him to gain intel on Narug Dwarf-eater, who has a fear of burning and ghouls and can be damaged by combat finishers, which is very nice.
Gone.
I'll also use this guy again to create an initiation into Narug's ranks. Now we're going for his bodyguards. We don't need this guy anymore, we just needed the information. Okay, he's right there. We don't know what he's weak to, what he's strong to, but he's out in the open, which means as long as he's not surrounded by Uruks, we should be okay. Okay, he's kind of surrounded by Uruks. I'll just use a distraction shot to make them look around that way. And hopefully I can walk up to him and get the stealth attack. Fear of the Gravewalker. Isn't that convenient? This is like the best fear you want them to have. It's like they're just terrified of you on an innate level. Your very existence brings them terror. So that's handy. Now we know what Krook Ravager is about.
Hunting formation, Uruks! Time to earn your dinner!
Time indeed. Okay, so he's leading a little hunt. We're gonna try to take him out amidst the chaos. I'm being very safe and curving around the back. And branding archers is typically really good, like archers or crossbowmen or other ranged units. Okay, I got a few, sown even more chaos. Let's see, how can we get this guy? Well, we can grab a few more. Never a bad idea.
Right, Damon? These Gurkhas will skin and bone you as quick as they would a Caragor.
Well, not anymore, because, I mean, they're mine now. And the ones that aren't are getting arrows. Let's see if this guy can be damaged by this. Yes, he can. That's very nice. Oh, but he can't be vaulted. Okay. Let's see how he interacts with Caragors, actually. He is taking minor damage from them. Okay, he's green now. Killed the Caragor. Oh. He's invulnerable to stealth, I see. And because the Beast Hunt resolved, he healed fully, which was a mistake. I wish there were a way to just stun Caragors without killing them. Maybe shooting it in the leg would have done it, but I'm not sure. I think that only works on Uruks. Anyway, this dude is completely isolated. He's got no one. And he can be damaged by combat finishers, so no hope, no chance. Gonna create a power struggle against Narug. And now I think we can go for him. That's Fell Douche. I don't know if I want to kill him. Actually, maybe I do. I'm taking out other bodyguards. I just forgot how many he had. I love the rain weather in Shadow of Mordor. I think it's awesome, especially at night. Grab this guy. Let's see who else we can brand. The more the better. The easier the fight will get. Oh, I messed up my distraction input. Managed to redirect them, which is nice. Gimme, gimme.
I was hoping for a fight too.
This guy's surprised, so we'll get him while he's shocked. I'll distract behind them.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, turn around. I'll grab this guy. And then just kill the last guy. I think we're good here, actually. Is there anyone else that we can... No, I think that's about it. I think we're just going for Elf Shot now to refill our ammo. And focus. Beautiful. Alright then. Let's see how this goes. We'll jump down with a brand.
Hey! We both want to kill each other, so one of us will be dead.
Impeccable
And
logic.
I think it will be me. That kills you!
Good. Wraith Flash to AoE because there are multiple around me. Knock him down and then just like use the knockdown to take out one of the ones encroaching.
I'm going now. Next time I'll kill you all the way.
No, no next time. No next time. Only this time. Oh, so this Feldouche guy is vulnerable to stealth finishers, which is beautiful to hear. But unfortunately, this is when he picks to arrive. Only thing I can really try is to take out, yeah, invulnerable to ranged. He parries from the front, which is terrible. But let's just brand a bunch of guys and then have them fight him for me, because Uruk attacks aren't considered a finisher type, they're just considered raw damage. So what we're gonna do is stun him with Wraith Stun, wait for an Uruk to hit him, and then repeat until his health is low enough to be grabbed. Which is a universal strategy that you can use for a lot of different Uruks in this game. Just Wraith Stun and then let your army fight them.
I'm starting to get annoyed.
Basically, in those situations, Talion's capacity is as a support. Like, you set up the damage from your army. Fear of Burning, Fear of Ghouls. I don't know if I can actually exploit that, but we'll just go in anyway. We have so many captains here that we just can't lose, basically.
I'll crush your throat with one hand and slay this traitor with the other.
That's pretty badass. If only it would happen. Okay, so he blocks Wraith Stuns, I think, which is problematic. Okay.
Cheating schmuck! I'll come back and haunt you from the grave!
No. No, you won't, because you're not dying. You won't come back because you're not going anywhere. What's Ogbur Pain Lover got going on? Nothing meaningful.
What's it like to know you'll be dead so soon? I'll rip your tongue out and feed it to you!
So we're beginning to work on the next Warchief by thinning out his bodyguards. Okay, just poke him with an arrow really quick before getting the counter, just to make sure. Oh, that's right, I attacked an axe guy from the front, silly me. I love the double counters with Celebrimbor. Such a cool mechanic. I hope the Wonder Woman game that Monolith are making is cool. I hope it has stealth. And I hope the combat is satisfying.
Hey! We'll deal with you first, stupid talk.
If it does have stealth, I will probably make some kind of content on it. Because I enjoy open world stealth games.
Careful! Come back, you are mine!
This dude is vulnerable to stealth finishers. That is great news. Let's go get him.
Mozfel.
Yeah, this is gonna be super, super easy. I hope. So we'll just... Yeah, grab him like that. There we go, done. Yeah, come here. I need your help. We need to learn Ranger Killer, huh? Let's find out how true that really is. Warp over here. Grab arrows from him. And brand him. You can do that faster now, of course. I think I covered that earlier, where you can just momentarily start draining him and then release to make him, to restand him basically, to stand him up. And then when he's standing, you can just do the stealth brand. And then that way you do it all a lot faster. I realize that I can't actually escape this area undetected, so I'm just gonna fight him.
I'll be at your back.
Okay, he's damageable by that. His fate is sealed. Take out a few guys on the periphery. He's grabbable now, but my dude just... Yeah, okay.
Only strength of stone survives the flood. Resist the Warchief's waves, and he shall face us.
Okay, now we gotta draw the Warchief out. So we need them to raise the alarm. Okay, good. He'll light the beacon. That's exactly what we want. This is among the hardest objectives to do on no upgrades, I think. Like resisting waves of Uruks while an alarm is going. So now we have to kill 35 of them. Which we will do slowly. The shield guys, ideally, we engage with as little as possible. Chucking them off edges is always a win. Take out the shield guys so that we don't have to interact with them. That's why. Very annoying enemy type. Not a problem if you engage with the progression systems like you're supposed to, but very much a problem if you don't. Ow. Couldn't dodge that in time. I was spamming the input there, but alas. Talion is very selective about which animations he feels like he wants to break out of and which ones he doesn't. I'll eat this. We only have to kill 20 more. Let's see which ones we can go for that are a bit easier. Okay, got some elf shot. Feeling good about that. You can see what I'm thinking. Let's see how it works. So this lets us start branding a bunch, which is exactly what we want. Yeah, when they're feared, they're able to be... You can do stealth interactions on them, and dropping flies basically fears entire groups for a very short time, but it's enough to get like 1 or 2 brands off. Yeah, I was keeping my sword lit a little longer for the increased damage. I'll probably vault and Wraith Flash in the middle of the swarm. Yep. Finally, my dude arrives, looking none too pleased. I guess he hasn't had enough pain.
Dead man! You may be a match for my boys, but I'll break your sword in two and deliver it to your weeping women folk. Follow my will.
I order my dudes to attack him. He's invulnerable to ranged. But now he's been knocked down. I'm gonna follow the same principle I did before, where I just put stuns on him and then have my guys attack him. And you see, I'm not really concerned with him. I'll just stun him, let my forces hit him. Stun him, let my forces hit him. This is a very effective strategy, especially because it demands minimal time spent from the player. Like, you can just punch him and then go somewhere else. So you see, he's already been removed. And one of my branded Warchiefs will ascend. Or I should say one of my branded Uruks will ascend to Warchief. And it will be Mozfel. Very fitting that the dude with the axes replaced the dude with the axes, and now we're basically at the end of the game. This mission is called Lord of Mordor. And the boss of it is the tower.
He's coming! The death who walks with blue flame! Embrace your destiny, brothers! Bring him the gift of man! Snuff his flame with the blood of their Urukai!
Drown the air with Uruk cries, and the earth with Uruk blood!
Yeah, Italian speech was better. So we're gonna run in and just start killing people. It says this is my nemesis, but I'm not sure if I actually remember this guy. You don't always have a nemesis, so, you know, the game is like you are entitled to a nemesis. If you cannot afford one, one will be provided to you. One of the upsides of running no upgrades is that it makes this final battle somewhat more climactic, because you can't just like carve through everything in 2 seconds. You have to actually like earn every kill individually. Unfortunately, my dude has been killed, which happens. But I have more. That's why we brought like 4 or 5 of them. I'm trying to prevent more from being killed.
Hey! We're not finished! There are scores to settle. We will meet again when Lord Sauron grants you the gift of men.
Okay, and now we move on to the tower.
The fortress is a trap. This silence taunts us. What sorcery is at work here?
Okay, so the way this boss fight works is you have 8 minutes to stealth drain this dude like 2 or 3 times, I think. So there are many copies of him wandering around. Be careful not to be detected. And he creates an illusion of Yorith. And you can go talk to her. Or try to.
You will never see your family again.
And you can counter drain him. And then just like Ezio Auditore him. Alright. And now here's the finale. Storm the Black Gate. Mordor in flames. So he comes at you with 5 more Warchiefs called Talons of the Hand. And you have your own Warchiefs.
It was an honor to serve under the tower. I'll mount your head on the spikes of the Black Gate for what you did to him.
Okay. We'll begin by just running through this horde using our Caragor and just slashing away. Maybe we can break some shields, maybe we can get some knockdowns, maybe we can get some kills. Good way to kill the little ones. The first Talon of the Hand has already been killed by one of our forces, which is good progress. Just riding around seeing who we can get knockdowns on. I'll eat this guy to get some health, or try to. This dude has Monster Slayer, so he didn't die, even though he really should have right there.
You tried to save the witch's fisher folk, but you turned your back, and we made him scream.
I'm really trying to get this dude out of the way so that I can kill a guy on the ground. Second Talon of the Hand has been defeated. Good stuff. Yeah, at this point, like, your Warchiefs are very strong. Especially if you've managed to get ones that have nice passives. Just shoot that guy.
Turning into a right bloody nuisance, aren't ya?
Yeah, you could say that after I've killed like 3 of your friends.
Harder than the towers.
Making good progress on this guy's health. Dead, and now for the last one. I'm very wary of attacking Iron Shield guys. Besides, I kind of know that even if some of my Warchiefs die, they outnumber him so much that, like, undoubtedly one of them will kill him eventually. So let's say goodbye to Narug. Thanking for his service. Thank you, Narug.
Ranger! Fire Mountain bring doom! Doom to all men!
I see, I actually didn't even punch this guy at all earlier. So he was here too. Ow.
Serve my will.
Damn, that was pretty brutal. I don't know what he did to that guy, but he was having a good time. We're nearing the end now. I think there's only 3 minutes left. If that. All we have to do is climb up here, do a quick time event, and then the game is over. Shadow of Mordor doesn't actually have, like, a final boss fight.
Sauron is still weak. Without the power of the One Ring or the Ringmaker, he cannot take form.
So you hit your vault button, you hit your vault button or your parkour button.
Strike out on him! I cannot hold him for much longer!
And then you and Celebrimbor strike him together.
Talion, my heart, we will be together soon. Forever.
The Black Hand of Sauron is dead. The Hither Shore is calling us. This is no longer our battle. I tried fighting you. It can't be done.
Could you really rest for all of eternity, knowing that you had the chance to stop him, but did nothing?
So that's been Shadow of Mordor No Upgrades. Thanks for watching. I hope you had a decent time. Hope you learned 1 or 2 useful tricks. Yeah, fun game. One of my favorites. As you can see, we'll just do a quick sweep through my inventory. No weapons, no runes, no skill points spent. The only skills I have are the auto-unlocked blue ones from the main story, and like that red one on the left. That, like, basically you don't have a choice but to get these. Like, you get them automatically. I've spent no Mirian, so I still have all of it that I've gotten. And I haven't really done any missions except for one survival challenge, which I got by accident by just eating random vegetables in the world. So yeah, once again, thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you hanging out, spending some time. Links you might want to check out are in the description. And can't wait to see what the next thing I upload will be that is of this length. So yeah, see you guys later.